Guardians of the Galaxy is on the horizon, so let's take a few minutes to look at the new abilities in the set and how they work. Let's get right into it and start with Callout. This works kind of like the basic action with the same name. When the character with Callout attacks, you target an opposing character die. The die you target can only legally block the character that used Callout on it, and no other die can block the die that used Callout. So we're basically setting up a mano-a-mano showdown between two dice. This is useful for multiple reasons. If your opponent only has one blocker and you really need to get another character through, you can call out their blocker and your other character is guaranteed to not get blocked. Now, a few caveats to remember. The call out character is not forced to block. It can still chicken out. So if I call out your Shriek, she doesn't have to block and get KO'd. But if you do chicken out, the character with call out goes through unblocked even if you have other valid blockers. Also, if something happens in between attackers and blockers being declared that removes the called out character, call out is no longer valid. So I attack with Stick and Firestorm that deals damage to a character die. If Stick calls out Ghost Rider, and then Firestorm deals his when attacks damage to Ghost Rider KOing him, callout has been voided, and any opposing die can now block Stick. If you call out a character die, but the callout character is unblockable, callout is voided, and the called out character die can then block however it desires. Similarly, if two Sticks attacked and they both called out the same character die, callout would be voided and now anything could block Stick. So be careful with your callout targeting. Now let's move on to Infiltrate. If a character with Infiltrate is unblocked, you can choose for it to immediately deal 1 damage to your opponent and return it to the field zone rather than leaving it in the attack zone to potentially deal its damage and going to the use pile. The choice for Infiltrate to trigger is made right after blockers are declared and finalized, before the global window. This is important largely because it means these characters, if not blocked, can deal their Infiltrate damage and return to the field zone before your opponent can use something like Blink Transmutation's Global or Magic Missile to kill an Infiltrate character before it does damage. So let's walk through a quick example here. I only pulled 1 Ricochet, so let's pretend this Flesh Golem is also a Ricochet. So I've entered my attack step and I attack with 2 Ricochets and a Sidekick. My opponent only has Captain America available to block, and he chooses to block a Ricochet. Blocks have now been finalized. I choose to use Infiltrate on the Ricochet that went unblocked, returning it to my field and hitting my opponent for 1 damage. I cannot choose to return the other Ricochet because he was blocked. We now move into our global window. I have no spare energy to activate any globals, my opponent doesn't either. Damage resolves. Cap KOs Ricochet, and my Sidekick gets through for 1 damage and goes to used. Another way this could have played out, Cap blocks the Sidekick instead. I can now choose for both Ricochets to return and deal 1 damage each, or let them both go through for full damage, or one goes through full and the other comes back. I have 1 Ricochet at level 3, so I'll choose not to Infiltrate with that one. But the level 1 with Infiltrate, I'll deal the 1 damage and return it to my field. Now globals, neither of us have extra energy, now damage, Cap takes out the Sidekick, and the level 3 Ricochet deals full combat damage to my opponent and goes to used. Now they're both pretty awesome. I love it. They both spiced up character combat quite a bit. Now those are our 2 main mechanics, but something else new in the set, let's talk about Rare Nowhere. We talked about it briefly on the Prep Area podcast, and I just thought I'd do a quick run through of how it works since we really haven't had anything too much like it in Dice Masters so far. For you Magic the Gathering veterans, this is very similar to the card Birthing Pod. I don't actually have the Rare Nowhere card, so please forgive my lack of a card, but it says, you may swap any character die in your use pile or field zone for an unpurchased character die costing 1 more. Return the swap die to its card. Character dice swapped in the field zone stay on the same level. So let's see this in action. I already purchased and fielded a Daisy Johnson, who has a purchase cost of 3. I rolled the action phase on Nowhere. I use it and choose to swap Daisy for a character with a purchase cost of 1 more than her. I choose Stick. He comes in and is placed in the field at the same level Daisy was at, level 2, and Daisy returns to her card. I attack with Stick, he deals his damage, and goes to used. My next turn, I draw and roll another Nowhere, but I don't have anything fielded. No big deal. I choose to get this 5-cost Captain Marvel, I place her in my use pile, and Stick returns to his card. This is just a really cool card with a lot of potential. Also, remember, while I was using this to get higher cost characters, I was still rolling energy and buying other things. If you build your team right, this is going to help you get some really beastly things out in the field. I love it. This is just really great. And there we have it, folks. A quick look at the new abilities in Guardians, as well as an immensely cool new action die that I'm super eager to toy around with. One more week to go, and I'll say it again, this set cannot get here soon enough.